Sorry. This is Anna Karenina. Oh, my face is breaking out and shit. Listen, I just got back from work. I'm so tired. Okay, I'm so stinking tired. But we're back on the Anna Karenina grind. Because this channel is not titled Read with Aristide for nothing if we ain't gonna be reading with Aristide. Okay. So, yeah, okay, so this is Anna Karenina, whatever. Okay. When Anna arrived, Dolly was sitting in her little drawing room giving a fair-haired, plump little boy, who already resembled his father, a French reading lesson. The boy, as he read, kept twisting and trying to pull off a loose button that hung from his jacket. His mother moved his plump little hand away several times, but it would always return to the button. At last, she pulled the button off and put it into her pocket. "Keep your hands quiet, Grisha." And the reason why I'm doing the low voice, if y'all watch the previous videos, I do the low voice for the mom. Because, listen, y'all, I need to show y'all this shit. This is so good. They sell it in my convenience store. I'm gonna eat the whole thing, y'all. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. I love the lychee flavor. It's awesome. I'm salivating. And they have peach and strawberry, but obviously lychee's my favorite. Okay. And again took up the rug she was knitting, a piece of work become long ago, to which she always returned in times of trouble, and which she was now knitting, nervously throwing the stitches over with her fingers and counting them. Though she had sent word to her husband the day before that she did not care whether her sister came or not, she had prepared everything for her visit and awaited her with agitation. Dolly was overpowered by her sorrow and was quite absorbed by it. Nevertheless, she remembered her sister-in-law, Anna, was the wife of one of the most important men in Petersburg, and a grande dame. Thanks to that circumstance, she did not carry out her threat to her husband, and did not forget that her sister-in-law was coming. "After all, it is not the least Anna's fault," thought she. "I know nothing but good about her, and she has never shown me anything but kindness and friendship." It was true that, as far as she could remember her visit to the Karenins in Petersburg, she had not liked their house. There seemed to be something false in the tone of their family life. "But why should I not receive her? If only she does not try to console me," thought Dolly. "All these consolations and exhortations and Christian forgiveness, I have considered them 1,000 times, and they are all no good." All these last days, Dolly had been alone with her children. She did not wish to talk about her sorrow, yet with that on her mind, she could not talk about indifferent matters. She knew that, one way or another, she would tell Anna everything, and now it pleased her to think how she would say it, and then she felt vexed to have to speak out of her humiliation to her, his sister, and to hear from her set phrases of exhortation and consolation. As it often happens, though, she kept looking at the clock, waiting for Anna. She let the moment when her visitor arrived go by without even hearing the bell. And when she heard soft steps and the rustle of petticoats already in the doorway, she looked round with an expression not of pleasure but of surprise on her careworn face. She rose and embraced her sister-in-law. "So you're here already?" she said, kissing her. "Dolly, I'm so pleased to and listen, y'all. Yes, I'm doing my normal voice for Anna. Not because I'm a fucking pick-me, and yes, Anna is a fucking Mary Sue. I'm not gonna lie. She's kind of a Mary Sue. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense, Tolstoy. Anna is a little bit of a Mary Sue. He kind of makes the female protagonist in his stories kind of Mary Sue's. I'm gonna be so real with you. What flaws does Anna have? I mean, she does cheat on her. She does do... She's a bop. Okay, first of all, she's kind of a bop. That's the really only flaw. But they make Oblonsky's a bop. You know what? It runs in the family. Bop-ass family. Oblonsky, bop. Anna Karenina, bop. Okay? So, that's all I'm gonna say. But yes, I'm gonna give her my normal voice because she's a fucking main character. So I'm not gonna fucking do an annoying voice for her. Thanks. And yes, I did an annoying voice for Vronsky. But like, who cares? Because he's annoying. And he broke Kitty's heart for no reason. Because he's a fuckboy. Vronsky, bop. Oblonsky, bop. Anna Karenina, bop. That's all I'm trying to say. Anyway. And I am pleased too, said Dolly with a feeble smile, trying to guess from Anna's expression how much she knew. She must know, she thought, noticing the look of sympathy on Anna's face. Come, let me take you to your room, she went on, trying to put off as long as possible the moment for explanation. This is Grisha? Dear me, how he has grown, said Anna, and having kissed him, she stood with her eyes fixed on Dolly and blushed. No, please, do not let us go anywhere. She took off her shawl and her hat, and having caught it in her black and very curly hair, shook her head to disengage it. And you are radiant with joy and health, said Dolly, almost enviously. Yes, said Anna. Why, dear me, here's Tanya. You're just the same age as my little Cereza, she added, turning to the little girl who had run into the room, and taking her in her arms, Anna kissed her. Sweet girlie, darling, let me see them all. She not only mentioned them all by name, but remembered the years and even the months of their births, their characters, and what illnesses they had, and Dolly could not help appreciating this. Shall we go see them? She said. It's a pity Vasya is asleep. Having looked at the children, they returned to the drawing room, and being now alone, sat down to coffee at the table. Excuse me. Anna took hold of the tray, but then pushed it aside. Dolly, she said, he has told me. Dolly looked coldly at Anna. She expected now to hear words of insincere sympathy, but Anna said nothing of the kind. Dolly, dear, she began, I do not wish to take his part or console you. That would be impossible. But dearest, I am simply sorry for you, sorry from the bottom of my heart. Her bright eyes under their thick lashes suddenly filled with tears. She moved closer to her sister-in-law and with her energetic little hand took hold of Dolly's. The latter did not draw back from her face, but her face retained its rigid expression. She said, It is impossible to console me. Everything is lost after what has happened. Everything destroyed. As soon as she said it, her face softened. Anna lifted Dolly's dry, thin hand, kissed it, and said, But what is to be done, Dolly? What is to be done? What is the best way of acting in this dreadful position? That is what one has to consider. Everything is at an end, and that's all, said Dolly. And the worst of it is, you understand, that I can't leave him. There are the children, and I am bound. Yet I can't live with him. It is torture for me to see him. Dolly, my darling, he has spoken to me, but I want to hear it from you. Tell me everything. Dolly looked at her inquiringly. Sincere sympathy and affection were visible in Anna's face. If you like, said Dolly suddenly, but I'll begin from the beginning. You know how I was married. With the education Mama gave me, I was not merely naive, but silly. I knew nothing. I know they say husbands tell their wives how they have lived, but Steva, she corrected herself, but Stephen Arkadeyevich never told me anything. You will hardly believe it, but up to now I thought I was the only woman he had ever known. In this way I lived for 9 years. Only think that I not only did not suspect him of unfaithfulness, but I thought it was impossible. I then just imagined, with such ideas suddenly to find out all the horrors, all the abomination, try to understand me, to be fully convinced of one happiness, and suddenly, continued Dolly, suppressing her sobs, to read a letter, his letter to his mistress, my children's governess. No, it's too horrible. She suddenly drew out her handkerchief and hid her face in it. I could perhaps understand a momentary slip, she went on after a pause, but deliberately, cunningly to deceive me? And with whom? To go on living with me as my husband, and with her at the same time? It's awful, you cannot realize. Oh, yes, I do understand, Dolly dear, I do understand, said Anna, pressing her hand. And do you think he realizes the horror of my situation? Continued Dolly. Not at all. He is happy and contented. Oh no, Anna quickly interrupted. He is pitiable. He is overwhelmed with remorse.
Is he capable of remorse?
Interrupted Dolly, looking searchingly into her sister-in-law's face. Oh, yes, I know him. I cannot look at him without pity. We both know him. He is kind-hearted, but he is proud too. And now he is so humiliated. What moved me most is, and here Anna guessed what would touch Dolly most, that two things tormented it. He is ashamed of the children, and that loving you, yes, loving you more than anything else in the world, she hurriedly went on, not listening to Dolly, who was about to reply. He has hurt you, hit you so hard. He kept saying,
No, she would forgive me. She would not forgive me.
Dolly, gazing beyond her sister-in-law, listened thoughtfully.
Yes, I understand that his position is dreadful. It is worse for the guilty than for the innocent one, she says. If he feels that the misfortune all comes from his fault, but how can I forgive him? How can I be a wife to him after her? Life with him now will be a torture for me, just because I love my old love for him.
Sobs cut short her words, but as if intentionally every time she softened, she again began to speak of the things that irritated her.
You know, she is young, she is pretty, she said. You see, Anna, my youth and my good looks have been sacrificed, and to whom? For him and his children. I have served his purpose and lost all I had in the service, and of course, a fresh, good-for-nothing creature now pleases him better. They probably talked about me, or worse, still avoided the subject. You understand?
And hatred again burned in her eyes.
And after that he will tell me, am I to believe him? Never. No, it's all ended. All that served as a consolation, as a reward for my labors, my suffering. Will you believe me? I have just been teaching Grisha. It used to be a pleasure, and now it is a torment. What is the good of my taking pains, working so hard? What use are the children? It is terrible. My soul has so revolted that instead of love and tenderness for him, I have nothing but anger left. Yes, anger. I could kill him.
And bitch, I would too. Bitch, I would too. They're making Dolly seem like she's insane. No, bitch. She's so valid in how she feels. She embarrasses this man's children, gets married off to embarrass his children, then it turns out he's a bop this whole time. And seriously, Oblonsky is a bop. That's all I'm trying to say. Oblonsky is a bop. Simply put. Dolly, dearest, I understand, but don't torture yourself. You are so deeply hurt, so upset that you see many things in the wrong light. Dolly was silent, and for a moment or two neither spoke.
What am I to do? Think it over, Anna. Help me. I have turned over in my mind everything I could think of, and can find nothing.
Anna could not think of anything, but her heart responded to every word and every look of Dolly's. All I can say is, began Anna, I am his sister, and I know his character, his capacity for forgetting everything. She made a gesture with her hand in front of her forehead. That capacity for letting himself be completely carried away, but on the other hand, for completely repenting. He can hardly believe now, can hardly understand how he could do it.
No one understands and understood,
Dolly interrupted.
And you forget me. Does it make it easier for me?
Wait a bit. When he was speaking to me, I confess I did not quite realize the misery of your position. I saw only his side, and that the family was upset, and I was sorry for him. But now having spoken with you, I, as a woman, see something else. I see your suffering, and I cannot tell you how sorry I am for you. But, Dolly dearest, I fully understand your sufferings, yet there is one thing I do not know. I do not know how much love there is still in your soul. You alone know that. Is there enough for forgiveness? If there is, then forgive him.
No,
Dolly began, but Anna stopped her and again kissed her hand.
I know the world better than you do, she said. I know men like Stephen, how they see these things. You think he spoke to her about you? That never happens.
Oh wait, sorry, that's Anna saying that. I know the world better than you do. I know men like Steven how they see things. You think he spoke to her about you. That never happens. These men may be unfaithful, but their homes, their wives are their holy places. They manage in some way to hold these women in contempt, and don't let them interfere with the family. They seem to draw some kind of line between the family and those others. I do not understand it, but it is so.
Yes, but he fucked her.
Sorry. Replace the F word for kiss. Dolly, wait a bit. I've seen Steven when he was in love with you. I remember his coming to me and weeping. What poetry and high ideals you are bound up with in his mind. And I know the longer he lived with you, the higher you rose in his esteem. You know, we used to laugh at him because his every third word was,
Dolly is a wonderful woman.
You have been and still are in his divinity, and the infatuation never reached his soul.
But suppose the infatuation is repeated?
It cannot be, as I understand.
And you, would you forgive?
I do not know. I cannot judge. Yes, I can, said Anna after a minute's consideration. Her mind had taken in and weighed the situation, and she added, Yes, I can. Yes, I should forgive. I should not remain the same woman, no. But I should forgive, and forgive it as utterly as if it had never happened at all.
Well, of course.
Dolly put in quickly, as if saying what she had often herself thought.
Or else it would not be forgiveness. If one is to forgive, it must be entire forgiveness. Well now, I will show you your room.
She rose and on the way embraced Anna.
My dear, how glad I am you came. I feel better now. Much better.